Welcome to IdeaGen TV. Today we are excited to have with us Ambassador Paolo Zampolli, Ambassador of Dominica to the United Nations. Ambassador, welcome.
Thank you, George. It's an honor to be here. Good to see you.
Ambassador, it's a really exciting time, and I'm excited to tell our global audience a little bit more about you and all the incredible work that you've done at the United Nations and beyond. And I'd like to begin by asking you, tell us a little bit about yourself, as well as your incredible.
I would say I'm just a civil servant and a businessman. Well, I'm from Italy. I came to this country about 25 years ago. And my previous life, I owned a fashion company, which was a model agency. Then I worked in real estate, which I still am in real estate. And I also became ambassador at the United Nations of a developing country, a small developing country called Dominica. Also, before becoming ambassador, I was ambassador of tourism of Canada, a special representative of the Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis. So at the United Nations, I always had a very, very close relationship with small island states, especially the Caribbean one, that are very close to us, and they're very concerned about the oceans and the climate and the sustainable developing goal. When I arrived at the United Nations about 12 years ago, we were working still on the Millennium Developing Goal. And then we started to prepare for a few years on the SDG, which we also changed the name to Global Goals to be more appealing to the international community. Regarding on the Sustainable Developing Goal, the Global Goals, I'm very proud to say that I really work hard with some fantastic, terrific colleagues to create and make happen Goal 14, which is the oceans, that we call it life underwater, which of course is not only the oceans, but is everything related to life underwater. Together with me, I was honored to work with a 2 times Nobel Prize nominated, was unfortunately late Foreign Minister De Broom from the Marshall Islands, and another, unfortunately, their friend, Ambassador Beck, the permanent representative of Palau, which unfortunately not with us. We worked very hard, and together with all the member states, it was a lot of negotiation, and a lot of people get involved after, but we created initially the movement, and now we have an SDG 14.
So it's incredible where you brought this from. So you were a catalyst for goal number 14. You had this incredible career, and you've held positions in both abroad and in New York. What do you believe, Mr. Ambassador, is the best approach to helping achieve goal 14, life underwater?
I'm convinced that the goal 14 needs really the human respect to the ocean. When I was young, I was very bad to the ocean. I always grew up on a boat, like maybe you that are from Greece. And we didn't know that throwing something in the water was bad. A cigarette stayed there hundreds of years, plastic 500 years. And you know, when you're on a boat, sometimes the garbage you throw in the water, and you didn't have this sensibility. And this is also educating the young ones to respect the ocean. We both grew up in countries where we had great islands, great water, and now you go swimming, you don't see anything in the water. This is also because of the desertification, the temperature change, but there is nothing, there's no fish, no coral. I think it's very important that we stop put plastic in the water, because if not, by 2050, we're going to have more plastic in the oceans. Another very important thing to respect the Goal 14 is illegal fishing. There's many countries which they don't need. They go around the world in developing countries like West Africa and deprive them to fish in an illegal manner, which is not sustainable. Also, one thing that drives me crazy, which I'm a champion of the shark at the United Nations. I even put a shark statue there, and I have one here that is especially being blasted at the Holy Father, this particular one in my last visit to the Holy Father, which we once named the UN shark, and now it's named the Laudato Si shark, thanks to the Holy Father, which is growing. My shark is growing. It's going to be very big, about 20 feet, and it's going to be outside the United Nations. The sharks, they unfortunately, you might have heard, they kill them just to eat, to make a soup of the small fin, because the rest of the shark is not really eatable, which is a true shame. Many people don't like the shark, they're scared of the shark. But the shark is very important for the ecosystem of the water, because the shark eats the fish that are dying, the fish that are bad. It really cleans the coral reef. So we need the shark for this ecosystem. And a few years ago, during the first ocean convention that we were supposed to have, the second one just last June in Lisboa, in Portugal, the country of our Secretary General of the United Nations, Antonio Guterres, and that was cancelled due to the pandemic. We had agreed with the Minister Dalla from Sweden, which was Environment Minister and Deputy Prime Minister, to define the shark as the symbol of the ocean. Like if you think about the jungle, you think about the lion, or you think about the tiger. Well, tigers, people should know, they're only in the Asian country. There is tigers only in 30 countries. People think we have tigers in Africa, but we don't. The tiger went as close as Turkey, but never past Turkey.
And you were a catalyst in this. So you helped bring the shark and create the shark as a symbol for goal number 14, life below water. What would you say today is the most important piece of advice or insight that you can give our global audience for achieving the global goals?
Yes, George, this is a very important question, and thank you. And I would like to say that everybody loves the ocean. I haven't met anybody that doesn't love the ocean. You have to treat the ocean like if it was your home, like even the beach. You don't want to leave garbage next to your bed. You lay on the beach. You don't want to leave garbage there. You go swimming, you don't want to throw garbage in your house. You want to treat the ocean like your own. If the ocean die, we die. The oceans support food security for millions of people. We cannot lose the oceans. If the ocean die, I'm sorry to repeat myself, we die. So please, for your great audience, learn from a guy that was very bad to the oceans, but then after being bad, I changed and I became very good to the ocean. Please treat the ocean like it's your home.
And this is a critical view, and you are such an advocate, obviously, having helped to serve as that catalyst for the creation of goal number 14. I mean, that's amazing. And so this effort took a lot of collaboration. So you clearly believe in collaboration. Why, Ambassador Zampolli, are you such a big supporter of cross-sector collaboration and innovation to solve so many of the world's most vexing issues? And how do you include that in your daily life?
Well, this is my social goal, basically. Actually, besides the oceans, I also brought artificial intelligence at the United Nations the first time, which a few years ago, despite that our Secretary General is a big champion of artificial intelligence, most of the country were very, very, very concerned about this, because they felt a lot of jobs would have been lost. A lot of jobs will be adapted, of course, and this was the first thing. And artificial intelligence, it's the future of humanity, and we're adapting. This is what we're doing. What I see is very important to have a cross with business leader and with companies. And we had Paul Polman, he was the chairman of Unilever. I don't remember how many billion of people use Unilever product every day, maybe 2 or 3 billion of people. And he was true, is a true champion. Now he's also assisting the Secretary General on sustainability. And all the companies, they have to adapt to not to have extended use of plastic, and also especially make sure plastic doesn't fall in the wrong place, which is the oceans. But it's very scary that I was told, I was shocked because at our residence in New York, we have like a military regime about recycling. Every floor has 3 big bins. I have the sticker from the mayor that I put on that tells you what to put inside the big bin. And a friend of mine that is very, very one of the main recycle garbage person in your city, he was laughing at my beam and say, but you know, when they go to the field, we just throw them in the same place because nobody buys them. So we get fined in New York City if we put the wrong bag, the garbage. But then after the municipality picks it up, they just throw it in the landfill.
Oh my gosh. Well, that you know, what can you say about that?
By the way, if I may say, I was told in Washington, you're not very good to recycling.
Yeah, in Washington, I can tell you, my family, we recycle. I haven't seen the chain where it goes, but I'm hopeful that when they say we put things in a recycle bin, that it's heading to the recycling facility. We hope.
Listen, I walk around with my shark. My wife walks around with a beautiful dog. I always walk around my shark in the United Nations. So I leash my shark if somebody.
Well, you get to walk around with the
shark is coming to Washington next week.
You get to walk around with the shark when you were helpful in helping to create goal number 14. I mean, the goals, those global goals, we like to say, were agreed upon. You were there unanimously by all 193 member states, correct?
Yes. It took big negotiation, you know, because some people wanted to politicize for you know, some islands, some territory that under disputed. But then we succeed in convincing the people. You know, unfortunately, the United Nations, we like to invest a lot of time in changing. I call them all meet in the basement in this committee, and they stay there to change a little comment like this. I call them, you know, they want to be all lawyers or something.
It takes. Well, it's similar in a lot of different places in the world, and so I'd like to ask you a slightly more serious question, which is this pandemic, the global situation we're in. What do you believe will be forever changed as a result of the pandemic?
Listen, it was last year. You will not be texting me on this beautiful service that it looks like we're face to face and it's very comfortable. You are in a different city. You will be sitting in my office with a big camera, setting up the studio for 2 hours. And now everything is going to be on digital. We all move into digital. I've been looking, I'm very depressed. You know, for me, the United Nations General Assembly, the opening, you know, the arrival of the President of the United States, which I always stand and welcome him, it was the most exciting things of the year. And I went to the United Nations. I mean, I can send you a couple of pictures. I had like one person in the room, so 193 delegates, when usually we have 1,400 people for the President of the United States. That's a big difference. And to see the United Nations open, seeing the United Nations so I was truly sad and depressed. And actually, I'm very scared that as we went on digital or whatever they call it, the United Nations, this web broadcasting, the next year, many heads of state will use this excuse not to come, because some heads of state, they just come there. Is that to broadcast to their own people, because just the room is full only for the first day, the second day for the big country's leader, especially after the President of the United States speak, the room gets empty. It's like a procession. Everybody walks out. It's crazy.
That's amazing to see. So you think the digital world will change, and I'd like to ask you, what gave you the passion? Where did the passion come from? How did that happen for you to want to become an ambassador?
I wanted to make a difference. You know, I don't consider myself a politician. I consider myself a businessman. I became ambassador because I call it as a royal decree. I'm not a career politician, it's like a political appointment. I helped a lot developing country, brought in a lot of business, especially in the islands in the Caribbean, like huge hotels, two major hotels. One is called a Kambisky under $90 million. Another is the Intercontinental, a Six Sense, which is another $90 million. So I am proud to say I did a lot for these people. And my prime minister, which is a great leader, for many years was the youngest leader of the world. Has been in power about over 15 years, re-elected, landslide. He asked me to be ambassador, and this is a great honor to be an ambassador of the United Nations. Of course, we have to admit the ambassador of the United States, ambassador of China, or the P5 have a different level. But to be an ambassador is like to be a general. You can be posted at the Pentagon, you can be posted in Afghanistan, on one of our air carriers. So it was an honor. It's been a kind of very, very grateful to my people, and I'm proud to say that I use it in the right way.
Well, that's a beautiful thing to represent a nation to the United Nations. It's an incredible honor and a lifetime honor. That's a legacy right there, and one that I know you take very, very seriously, and you're very humble about it, which is really nice to see. And
well, George, as you know, it's very complicated because I'm an Italian-born citizen, and I'm an American citizen. And as you can see, I'm wearing an American flag, and my heart is American. So I feel a true patriot, and I will be anytime at the service of the United States of America.
Oh, that's beautiful. That's beautiful. Well, here we sit in America. It's the greatest country in the world, obviously, and
I came here for the American dream.
That's right. That's right. So this is the 75th anniversary of the United Nations, and I'd like to ask you, what was your very first UN General Assembly like? Going back, what was that like?
Well, it was about 12 years ago. Of course, I grew into that. It's like it was an experience. I learned. It was the most important things, I was, and then the most impressive things, after a few years, when this heads of states, we're talking about Prime Minister Netanyahu, at this kind of level, they recognize you after they see you and they come and talk to you, and you are just one of them, and you're sitting next to the world leader of the world. You're sitting in the most impressive room next to 193 countries. It's so powerful. It's like I don't think there is any room that could be so impressive. Every year we always had some issues to discuss. It was Syria, it was problems. But this year it's very sad because there is no United Nations. Even people, the New Yorkers, they hate so much when we have the high-level meeting, the opening of the United Nations, because the city is completely locked down. I love it because with a diplomatic car, I just get the corridor. I can get to the United Nations in like in 10, 15 minutes instead of 20 minutes. Now with the pandemic, I think I can go in 7 minutes from my home, which is close by. But the way that the speech were this year, they were about COVID. Many of the big countries, they were bragging that they already have the vaccine. They have been using the vaccine, while we need still approval from our agencies in America. And they were all about seeking for help, which this is normal. All the United Nations, there's a big all the speeches from developing country are looking for globalization and for global help and global unification, and they did. So of course, I think I was very disappointed that we truly neglect the peace deal with the Middle East. It was really not put together in the proper way. I wanted to see all the Arab countries to address the first day of the United Nations, which is the only one that get picked up by the news, by the way, because the other days they're not really. They're only going to be picked up by the local news of the country. And I have asked our chief administration to put together the leader on the leader of the Arab country on the first day with the President of the United States and Prime Minister Netanyahu, because the first day is the most important. I saw the schedule. The King of Bahrain, day 3, speaker 14 is a monarch. A monarch has to speak the first day, like King Abdullah II was the first day. Sheikh Tamim bin Hamad Al Thani, which is the matter of Kuwait, of Qatar, was the first day. This is very very, very concerning for me that we did not address the peace deal. And the Pope, day 4, how possible?
And that's yeah. I mean, that's that's an example of the inner workings of the United Nations, where to the average person you see these incredible convenings and meetings, but the way it's then broadcast, sometimes some of the messages don't get through, and so you, having seen it for 12 years, know intricately the messaging and the important factors that go into all of this, so that we can have a very impactful dialogue, right? And so I'd like to conclude this portion of the interview, Mr. Ambassador, with a question about what is your post-summit ask of our global audience as we continue to change the world to achieve the global goals of the United Nations?
Support the United Nations. Try to give the chance, because lots of people do not have the highest respect to the nation, which makes me sad, because we do need the United Nations. I'm truly in agreement that the United Nations should have some reform, should be focused more on peace and security, counterterrorism, climate change. And this should be the main focus. We have 80,000 people working for the United Nations. It's a big expenses. And I think those people that are blessed of luck to have a job, continue to have a job even during the pandemic, they should work hard and not feel like take a sense of entitlement that they have a job, because in these days we are all in together into this pandemic. Somebody put us out of business, and we need to reinvent each other. We need to look at the future, because this is not going away soon. We were hoping to see these things going away in a few months, but it looks like, unfortunately, even towards next year, we're gonna see the real problem. I was just looking at Israel shut down. Prime Minister Boris Johnson puts strong restriction. Europe is getting some new peaks of cases. It's very dangerous, but we need the United Nations. I want our audience to believe in the United Nations, to try to support the United Nations. We have some very, very good ideas. Even at the small level, everybody can help and listen to the message,
That's right, Mr. Ambassador Zampolli, Ambassador of Dominica to the United Nations. Thank you for all you're doing to change the world. Thank you for all of your work in helping to bring forth goal number 14, life below water. And thank you,
George,
for belief in all we do.
Don't forget the shark. You're going to see me in Washington with the shark. Please call me anytime. And thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Ambassador.
Thank you.
Thank you.